Tonight, students get pumped up for the game against Mississippi State.
Plus, we'll get to meet Troy University's new athletic director. Stay tuned, Troy. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
Definition Digital Production Center on the Troy campus with news from Troy University locations around the world. This is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for September 14, 2012. I'm Jamarlo Phillips.
And I'm Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. Friday morning, Troy University officially announced the hiring of a new athletic director. Danielle Percival gives us a look at John Hartwell.
Our family is extremely excited, and it is great to be a Trojan.
John Hartwell joins Troy University after serving 9 years as the University of Mississippi's Senior Executive Associate Athletics Director. Hartwell is originally from Mobile and has worked in athletics administration since 1997. But his athletics background was not the only reason he was desirable for the position.
Well, he is a good combination of a man who understands athletics, but he's had some rich financial experience. He understands that the revenue side of this challenge is important. The management is important, but also the vision.
Hartwell made it clear that he had a vision in mind for the Trojan athletic program.
A constant commitment to and maximum effort for three things: academic excellence, positive social development, and last but not least at all, winning championships.
However, it's not just about winning for Hartwell, it's how you go about doing it.
Winning the right way. You'll hear me talk about winning the right way. All of those things are a part of winning the right way.
There were over 65 applicants for the position, and 25 of those were current athletic directors or associate athletic directors. But Chancellor Hawkins said Hartwell stood apart from the rest.
John Hartwell is one of the best prepared that I've ever met. I think he will serve us well. He has the experience, the passion, the understanding as a former student athlete, and I think is someone who has great vision for athletics, and I believe he's the perfect choice for Troy University.
Danielle Percival, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Hartwell will officially begin duties as the athletic director on October 1st.
Gearing up for the biggest game in school history, Trojan fans showed their support last night at Sartain Hall. Justin McNeely shows you how the fans livened up the pep rally.
On Thursday night, you saw a Jimmy Fallon look-alike, Justin Timberlake and Andy Samberg singing some tunes, or Will Ferrell just being Will Ferrell. Don't worry, you weren't live from New York. You just saw some pumped-up Trojan fans supporting the theme for this week's pep rally.
At Mississippi State, their fans like to use cowbells at home games, and there was a very popular cowbell skit that was done on Saturday Night Live.
The pep rally featured the Trojan cheerleaders, not the famous Spartan ones Will Ferrell popularized. While Saturday Night Live has the Bears super fans to pump up the Chicago faithful, the Trojans handed the mic to head coach Larry Blakeney and Kenoris Davis to pump up their fans.
We're going to have a lot of hitting. It's going to be a lot of competitiveness. We're going to have a lot of players, amped up, ready to go, and we just hope the best team win.
While some of the fans may not have understood the theme, maybe this will clear things up. Trojan fans packed out Sartain Hall on Thursday night to show their support for one of the biggest games in school history. And to alter the phrase from a famous Saturday Night Live skit, these Trojan fans had the fever. And the only prescription was no more cowbell. Well, there was tons of support at the pep rally. There is expected to be even more at the game. And one student expresses her excitement.
I am so excited for the game this weekend. I can't wait. I love Troy football. I go to every single game regardless. So the fact that there's this much support from the community just makes me that much more excited to come out.
For the fans who don't know already, the Trojans and the Bulldogs are set to do battle live from Troy, Alabama on Saturday night. Justin McNeely, Troy TrojanVision News.
Do not worry if you missed this pep rally. They are held every Thursday before every home game. Troy University has plenty of talented students, but we also have some who may not get the chance to show off their abilities.
That's right, Jamarlo. And last night, Troy's Miss Elite Society gave some of those students their moment in the spotlight. Destiny Hooks has the story.
And sexy. Is that really all that I am? Thursday night, students got the opportunity to showcase their poetry skills in an event in the Trojan Center Theater hosted by the Miss Elite Society.
We just had it to have an outlet for people to express themselves, to sing, to showcase their poetry, just to have an outlet.
One performer says that her culture inspires her to write her poetry.
Well, I actually wrote the piece during Black History Month for school, and the inspiration just came because I feel very strongly about our African American community as well as the females in our African American community, and that's what really caused me to write my piece.
Some students feel that there should be more events like this more often for people to express themselves in more ways than one.
Yes, I believe some students show their talents in different ways. Some that don't play football or basketball talents, I think that would be better.
It's an outlet for people. Some people sing, some people do spoken word, and that's a way for them to project how they feel. And maybe they're not a spoken person, so they have an outlet such as poetry, and this was a great experience.
And after the show, one student talked about the acts that stood out to him the most.
I like the young lady that said I can't remember her name, the one about the African American woman. That was really good. Christina Miles did a really good job tonight. I enjoyed Sam and the other young lady. And overall, it was a really good show.
Destiny Hooks, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Miss Elite Society's next meeting will be Tuesday at 6 in Trojan Room 119.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Dauphin Island, most of Alabama's request for $9.4 million in federal assistance following Hurricane Isaac would pay for beach repair or sand removal. The state released to the Associated Press a copy of an ad request that Governor Robert Bentley wrote to President Barack Obama this week. About $6.2 million is being sought to repair beaches in Gulf Shores or Orange Beach or to remove sand that covered roads on Dauphin Island.
And in Athens, the Tennessee Valley Authority plans to add around 100 jobs at its Browns Ferry nuclear plant in the next year. The Decatur Daily reports that the plan is part of an effort to improve performance and safety. TVA Chief Nuclear Officer Preston Swafford says officials will probably start the hiring process in a couple of months.
And in Montgomery, a federal judge has refused to dismiss a lawsuit filed by two couples that challenges a Montgomery County policy that they say denies marriage licenses to some immigrants. U.S. District Judge W. Keith Watkins ruled that the two couples have suffered injury and can continue with the lawsuit against a policy which bars them from obtaining marriage licenses in Montgomery County. Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News. One of the biggest weekends on campus is almost here. Danielle Percival will have all the details on the Mississippi State game when she joins us with sports.
But first, the Pentagon forces to protect U.S. embassies. We'll have that story and more after the break.
Killed in Libya, come home. I'm Danielle Nottingham at the State Department. I'll have the story coming up.
All right, guys, we gotta be smarter about what we bite on, okay? I want everyone to go outside. We're gonna run Red Rover on 3.
What about you, Tony?
I'm gonna run around in circles, flap my arms, and make engine noises like this.
When it comes to playing, we kids are the pros.
We're eating right, too.
We fuel up to play 60.
If your school doesn't have a program, be a leader. Start one.
Click today and join the movement.
If you can learn one thing in life, especially if you go into business, it's how to communicate and how to work with others. And I do think Troy taught me that.
Troy reaches out to people who they see their commitment to public service.
Troy just attracts students that want to give back to the community, that want to give back all across the world.
We want to educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, the body to act. We want to enable our students to go out into this world and make a difference.
Troy University, in class, online, within reach. Troy.edu.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Jamarlo Phillips at the Global News Desk. Jamarlo.
Thanks, Bailey. Protests are spreading throughout the Muslim world. More reaction to an American-made movie that ridicules the religion and the Prophet Muhammad. The Pentagon is sending extra forces to protect U.S. embassies. Danielle Nottingham is at the State Department where officials are keeping a tense watch.
protesters hurled rocks at police and tried to take control of the street leading to the U.S. Embassy in Cairo. Egyptian security forces drove them back with tear gas and built a giant concrete wall to block the route. Protests over an American-made film mocking Islam continue to spread through the Muslim world. In Yemen, security forces fired warning shots and blasted the crowd with water. Thousands marched in Iraq and Indonesia and through the streets of Gaza. In Egypt, violence has flared for days, but authorities are promising to protect diplomatic facilities, especially after the attack on the American consulate in Libya that killed the U.S. ambassador and 3 staff members. The remains of those 4 Americans arrived back on U.S. soil this afternoon. President Obama stood solemnly at Andrews Air Force Base to receive the bodies, along with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The loss of Ambassador Chris Stevens has been a very personal blow to Clinton. It was her decision to station him in Libya. The FBI is investigating what happened in Benghazi to determine whether terrorists hijacked a demonstration and turned it into a deadly attack. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, the State Department.
Scottish scientists are trying to restore sight in the blind. They transplanted stem cells into the eyes of 2 patients. Vanika Viamizar has more from Scotland.
I'm going to see...
50-year-old Sylvia Patton can only see shadows with her left eye. She was born with an eye condition called aniridia.
I can see greenery, which I'm assuming would be trees, and I also see what's probably rooftops.
Slowly, she's been losing the rest of her sight because her eye has no way to control the light that comes through. That has damaged her cornea.
I've never had normal vision, and I can never ever imagine what it's like to have normal vision.
Now she's taking part in a first-of-its-kind experiment in Scotland where scientists are trying to restore some of her sight. Doctors transplanted stem cells into her eye that they hope will protect her cornea and repair the damage. Scientists at this lab isolate the cells from donors, then they grow them into tissue.
They do exactly what they do in life, and that is they reproduce themselves and they produce more mature cells. So they grow out over the surface.
Until now, a full cornea tissue transplant was the only treatment.
I think it's going to be a major step forward for the many hundreds and thousands of individuals.
Sylvia has no regrets about having the experimental treatment.
So I'm really excited and I'm really, really honoured that I've been given the opportunity.
It will be months before doctors know if the procedure helped Sylvia. Monica Viamizar, CBS News, Scotland.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, such as which Hollywood movie is pre-selling tickets 6 weeks early, you can tune in to TrojanVision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Jim Marlowe. And now Danielle Percival joins us for a look at sports. So Danielle, this weekend is a big game, or a big game is happening this weekend in Trojan Athletics tomorrow night.
That's right, Bailey. It is the Mississippi State game. We've talked about it all week, but we've actually got a Trojan team that was in action today, so let's look at that first.
All right, sounds good.
Just like last year, the Trojan volleyball team was able to sweep the Hornets of Alabama State in straight sets. This year, though, it was at the ASU Invitational. It was a duo of true freshmen who led the Trojans' offense today. Blair Winston led the Trojans with 10 kills, while Darby Griff added another 7 kills and 2 errors. But senior Brianna Cullity led the Trojans defensively as she tied a school record with 9 blocks in the match. With the win, the Trojans were able to keep the Hornets scoreless on the year. Troy's next opponent in the tournament is Jackson State, and that game is currently in progress. The soccer team has one final non-conference game left on their schedule before getting into Sun Belt play. The Trojans will begin a 3-game homestand on Sunday as they play host to the Mercer Bears. The two teams used to square off in the A-Sun days, but they will meet again on Sunday. The two teams have been even in their all-time series, with each winning 3, losing 3, and then one tie between them. Coach Chris Bentley knows their Trojans will have to play well to bring home a win.
It's always great to play at home. Hopefully we can get back here and put together some nice results. We've got 3 games at home. Of course, when we lead into conference, we got FAU and FIU, so we start off right away with some challenging conference games. But, first and foremost, we have to focus on Mercer and really, again, put together 90 minutes of good effort.
The Trojans and the Bears square off at 1 o'clock on Sunday at the Trojan Soccer Complex. Now what we were talking about in the toss, we've talked about it all week, if not all season. One of the biggest weekends for the Trojan football team has finally arrived. For the first time, an SEC opponent will be on Larry Blakeney Field. Cue the cowbells. The Trojans enter Saturday with a 1-1 record, but their opponent comes in undefeated. Mississippi State faced the Auburn Tigers last weekend, winning 28-10. The Bulldogs are 19th in the country, averaging 42 points per game, and the defense knows they'll have their hands full.
I actually did get a chance to watch them play Auburn. It looked pretty good against Auburn. I mean, they ran a lot of stuff similar to what Lafayette ran, so of course it's going to be a tough challenge, and the SEC team is tough, but to have them at home would be a great opportunity for this school.
The Bulldogs on defense average giving up only 9.5 points per game. The Trojans racked up offensive yards through the air last week, but quarterback Corey Robinson says that may not be their weapon of choice this week.
We're going to do what we think that it's going to take to win. If the running game's hitting, let's keep going. If I'm feeling it and the receivers are having a good game, let's keep tossing it around.
Troy and Mississippi State have met twice in the past and split the two contests. The Trojans won their first meeting in 2001 in Starkville 21-9, recording their first win against an SEC school. Coach Larry Blakeney said that was monumental.
The impact of that win has resonated down through the years with our people, and I think has helped us tremendously.
This is the first time an SEC school has played at Veterans Memorial Stadium, and Blakeney knows facing Mississippi State this time around will be different.
It'll be harder this time because of number one of that game, and because I think both programs are a little different, but I'm looking forward to it.
We heard from the new athletic director earlier in the show, and this game is going to be an interesting one for him. He's coming from Ole Miss, and the Trojans play Mississippi State tomorrow. So what did John Hartwell have to say about the matchup?
I am excited to watch this football game this weekend, not only as my first event since being named the AD, but a little added flair in there playing the Bulldogs from Starkville. And, it will be very exciting, obviously having an SEC team come into Troy, but even more so, a 9-year rivalry with those guys. It won't take much for me to walk out there and see that maroon, not our Cardinal, but their maroon, and getting blood boiling a little bit.
Well said, Hartwell. Up top. The Trojans and the Bulldogs will meet on the field Saturday at 6 o'clock. But be sure to be around campus early enough to tailgate and take part in Trojan Walk, which will begin at 3:45. And another first this weekend will be the debut edition of the Cardinal Rule, the game day edition of the Metropolitan. It's a look at on-the-field action as well as behind-the-scenes features. For what you can expect in this week's edition, here's Andrew Clay.
Hello, I'm Andrew Clay, the Cardinal Rule's Associate Editor. The Cardinal Rule, the Metropolitan's new game day edition, will be available to fans for the first time this Saturday, September 15th at the stadium before and during game time. The Cardinal Rule is distributed for free to all fans at the Mississippi State game. Inside, you'll find features on the unsung heroes of the Troy football program, as well as features on veteran players, a section with games, cartoons, and how students plan on spending their game day. The unsung heroes will focus on off-the-field contributions that are seen on the field, i.e. grad assistants and strength coaches, and the stories of players like Corey Robinson and Kyle Wilborn will be told. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to your enjoyment of the new addition to Trojan home games.
Well, Bailey Jamarlo, it's finally here. We've talked about it all week. The Mississippi State game is tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And be sure to pick up an edition of the Game Day Metropolitan, the Cardinal Rule, and read up about the school and the football program, and even got a couple of us TrojanVision anchors that have pieces in there, so be sure to check it out.
Absolutely, Danielle, and looking forward to tomorrow, and best of luck to them and the soccer team this weekend.
That's right, go Trojans.
Thank you. Coming up on TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll learn about changes to some of the activities surrounding the homecoming game.
But first, all we've seen this week is pleasant weather with warm temperatures. What can we expect for the weekend, Bree?
Well, projections say those fall temperatures are on the way. I'll have more coming up in weather.
Come on, let's go.
Hey. Hey, hi, what's your name? You live around here? You're pretty. Where are you guys going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
Guess it's about time to get you fixed, sweetie.
Your pets will start getting noticed sooner than you think. Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
Today, we gather to recognize
the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. The woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Bree Sanders joins us for a look at weather.
So, Bree, we've been seeing some very nice temperatures throughout the week. What can we expect for tomorrow, since it's going to be a very big day for the Trojan football team?
Well, it looks as if we head into tomorrow, those temperatures are going to remain constant. Very pleasant, very sunny, but I'll get more into that in just a moment. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. Right now on campus, we see that the sun is setting right over Bibb Graves, so whether you're headed to class or headed home from work, you can definitely stay outside and enjoy the view if you like. Looking at our current conditions, right now we have partly cloudy skies, temperatures at 81 degrees, dew points at 64 degrees, humidity is at 55%, barometers at 30.13 inches and steady, winds are coming in from the north-northeast at about 6 miles per hour. Today's stats, we had a high today of 83, a low of 66. There was no rain today. The sun rises at 6:25 a.m. and it should set at 6:50 p.m. Temperatures around the state. Overall, our state is experiencing some mid to upper 80-degree temperatures. Mobile coming in with a high at 88. Huntsville, Birmingham, and Montgomery at 84. Troy at 81. Phoenix City at 83, as well as Dothan at 83. Looking at our temperatures in our area, here in the Birmingham area, the temperatures are in about the lower 80s, and as we move throughout the rest of the southeast, those temperatures remain constant in about the upper 70, lower 80-degree ranges. Looking at our temperatures as a whole, current temperatures on the west coast over here, they're in about the upper 60s, and as we head back towards our way, towards the east coast, those temperatures warm up about 5 degrees warmer, about 72 degrees, not much significance there. Current surface map, we have a few high pressure systems here in the west. Heavy to moderate rain systems coming in through that California area, possibly another reason for their lower temperatures right now. Taking a closer look in our area, however, we have a few light winds coming through, nothing too much there. Maybe possibly a cold front coming through the west side of our state later on next week. Stay on the lookout for that. Departure from normal, we're about 3 degrees cooler than what we've been seeing lately. Maybe those fall temperatures are headed into our area. Precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours. Doesn't look like we should be expecting too much rain, but as we see, the state of Florida will be covered in rain, as well as certain parts of Texas and Tennessee. As we head into tomorrow, like I said earlier, no rain for tomorrow. It should be a pretty great forecast tomorrow, so definitely go outside and support those Trojans against Mississippi State. As we head out our weekend on Sunday, still no rain in our area, but we have a little bit of rain towards the southernmost part of our state, as well as in certain parts of Florida as we begin our week on Monday. Rain covers the southeast as a whole, maybe 2 inches of rain or so, about a 70% chance of rain there. Make sure you get that rain gear to keep with you. As we head into Tuesday, that rain tries to lighten up just a little bit, but nevertheless, it still stays in our area. Tonight's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies, light winds coming in from the north-northeast at about 5 miles per hour with a low of 65 degrees. So tonight will be much like last night, light winds in our area, nothing too much to worry about there. Heading into tomorrow, it'll be mostly sunny skies tomorrow, light winds coming in from the east-northeast at about 6 miles per hour with a high of 89 degrees. However, as we head into tomorrow night for our game day forecast, kickoff starts at 6 p.m. Should be about 83 degrees, mostly sunny. At about halftime, it should go down to 80. It'll be very humid tomorrow. Winds coming in from the north at about 5 miles per hour. As we end our game around 9 o'clock, 9:30-ish, it should be about 79 degrees. Temperatures will be falling tomorrow, but not too much. Very humid tomorrow, very warm tomorrow. Definitely go out and support those Trojans tomorrow night. Heading into our 4-day forecast, as we move into tomorrow, like I said earlier, that high gets to about 89 degrees with a low of 66. Closing out our weekend on Sunday, that high gets to 88 with a low of 69. On Monday, that high gets to about 78, a 10-degree difference. So maybe we can say hello to those fall temperatures. Not very sure yet, but we do have a 60% chance of thunderstorms and showers in our area with a low of 68. On Tuesday, that high gets back into the lower 80s to right at 83 with about a 40% chance of thunderstorms and showers in our area. So, Jamarla, we have had those pleasant temperatures and conditions all week, and it looks like as we head throughout the weekend, we can definitely enjoy those game day temperatures as well as certain parts of next week.
Right. All right. Thank you, Bree.
You're welcome.
All right.